Squawk Talk.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Squawk Talk. I'm one of your hosts, Ken Clark, and joining me on the line is my buddy, Flip Dunsworth. Flip, it's that time of year again, baby. Fantasy playoff football.
Oh, it's a beautiful smell. Christmas is in the air. Football is in the air. It's the most wonderful time of year.
That's right. Heading into week 14 of the NFL means playoffs for fantasy. Let's get into it.
We got the playoff primer. Here we go.
Excellent. So this is it, folks. The playoff picture as it stands right now. You're looking at it as it is.
Trevor's team, Keep America Great, against Nancy and Nathan combo, previously called Coast to Coast, but now called Gronk's Party Moved. And it moved them into fourth seed in the playoffs here.
Yeah, and we got Devin Schmidt with the broken Kittle cooking, and Polar Solar Kevin Bush coming in at the 1 and 2 seed. That's good enough to give them a bye for the first round. And then, of course, the last game there, you can see say quantitative easing and Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto, the 3-6 matchup there in the first round.
And on the other side of the coin, in the losers bracket, this is where you don't want to be. Real nightmare there for Trey Burton. This is not one of those nice nightmares. It's a real life nightmare. They're competing here for the crown that you don't want to wear. These are the games you don't want to be playing, but it's important to play for pride and to try to avoid that stinky finish at the last place.
That's right. We had an exciting final week of fantasy football that saw the demotion of Herbert Hoover and Morgan Thielen. They were really fighting for those last couple playoff spots, but alas, wasn't meant to be. For the 9-10 seed, Trey Burton and Science, this shit, we kind of all see it coming. They weren't going to make it. They didn't have a snowball's chance in hell to make it in. So no surprise there. And, we're going to get around later in this talk about GMs possibly on the hot seat for next season. Is one of them on the chopping block? We don't know.
But the true stars of the show are the broken Kittle cooking and Polar Solar, who just soared to the playoffs immediately. I mean, that was great to watch, and we'll see how it goes for them. This week's matchups here, we got a real great game. Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto, going against a quantitative easing. While Saquon is not going to be in the playoffs due to an injury, this team still is rocking the fat stack of Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. I mean, this is a fat stack of pancakes. But if there's anybody that's got a big old appetite, it's Derrick Henry. This dude can eat some pancakes, and he might just eat, say, quantitative easing out of the playoffs. So that's going to be something to watch for.
That's right. King Henry, a big concern for, say, quantitative easing. Let's hope we'll see what happens there in that matchup. In the other first round playoff game, we got the 4-5 seed. That's 4th seed Gronk's Party Moved going up against the 5th seed Keep America Great. But don't be fooled by these rankings, because when I look at the list for Gronk's Party Moved, I've got a lot of question marks. Particularly, let me start at the top here with Kyler Murray. If you remember back to that game that he had against the Seahawks, he got a little dinged up, that shoulder that he landed on. He hasn't really been performing up to his standards since that game. And we look at a little bit further down the list, Raheem Mostert, he's also coming back from injury, hasn't been quite himself coming back from that. And so you got to ask yourself, if you're Gronk's Party Moved, you keep Kyler in there. Maybe you sub in Tom Brady. But don't forget, Tom Brady's 43 years old. This man's a dinosaur. But we'll see what happens there. On the other side of that coin, man, looking at Keep America Great, we got really what you like to say, Flip, the 1-2 punch of Alvin Kamara and Aaron Jones. That is a killer dynamic running back duo. Again, some really strong players down his list right there. Mike Evans, some good insurance against a Tom Brady start. Justin Jefferson is no joke. It's looking like a tough uphill battle for Gronk's Party Moved, but this is fantasy football. One game and you're out. Anything can happen.
That's right. Anything can happen. And Tom Brady might be a dinosaur, but he's a dinosaur who knows his way around the playoffs. So this is going to be a great matchup this week, and we'll see how it goes for him.
That's right. Well, we got your first round games covered there for you, and that kind of gives you a good picture of how the playoffs will start. But that's only a part of the picture. And I think to give us a full picture of what's going on for these playoffs, we're going to need a little bit of help. And that help's going to come from a good friend of ours, the commissioner, Mr. Roger Goodell, on the line.
Roger, are you there? Are you there, Roger?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Flip and Cannon. I, appreciate you having me on. Obviously, this has been a difficult year with coronavirus, but I'll have you know, we took it very seriously. Players are getting PCR tests. It's all about player safety. I know Dez got tested positive right before kickoff, but he was isolated. So, we kept him well, and player safety, of course. Bottom line is an important player safety. So welcome. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Well, it's good to hear that we got the player safety on lockdown, and GM safety is also important too. None of the GMs so far have been tested positive, although there have been a couple scares here and there among some GMs. And of course, in with those scares is the scare of the goose too. I mean, if the goose were to go down to COVID, then the whole season would be lost. That would be a real tragedy there.
Yeah, I understand that, and we're taking preventative measures, contract tracing, making sure we understand where everyone is at all times. It feels a little bit Orwellian, but at the same time, it's necessary. And of course, some liberties have been sacrificed, but it's all in a good cause of bringing a good product to our customer. And I'll have you know that the goose sleeps with me every night, and it is safe. So that's what's most important. So, gentlemen, while I'm here, what other questions do you have?
Well, Commissioner Goodell, we appreciate you and all the hard work that you've been doing this season, but we got to get your opinions on the playoff picture as it is. Who is your favorite? Who is your dark horse? Give us a picture of what you're thinking about during these upcoming playoffs.
Well, you see, competitive balance is a beautiful thing. And, we've got a lot of good teams out there, a lot of good general managers, a lot of players working really hard. I'm not a betting man. And if I were a betting man, I'd put money on everyone because I just believe in the league. It's a good product. Please watch. Please watch.
Well, Commish, if you don't last too much longer in your current role, I think you've got a bright future in politics ahead of you there with your style, so to speak.
I've got some boosters paying. I got a lot of support. There's a lot of support out there for me. But of course, I do what's right for the league.
Of course,
and the
Course.
consumer.
Well, Commish, I want to end on this question, and the question is this. Of all of the sports talk shows and content out there, which one would you say is your favorite?
Well, Cannon, you're really pinning me down here. There's a lot of good programs out there, but without a doubt, Squawk Talk's my favorite.
Wow,
that's an honor.
He knows when to be diplomatic, and he knows when to give an answer, and that's what we appreciate about Commissioner Roger Goodell. Thank you for joining us on Squawk Talk here today.
Well, I appreciate you boys having me, and good luck in the playoffs. There's a lot of worthy teams out there.
Thank you, Commish. Stay safe out there. Well, there you have it, folks. That's Commissioner Roger Goodell giving his opinions or lack thereof on the playoffs and what's to come.
Amazing. Thank you, Cannon. This has been a pleasure as always.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen,
All right.
We'll see you next time on Squawk Talk.
Squawk Talk.